This is my guitar. There are many like it, but this one is mine. Actually, there's a lot of guitars that look like this. So what I'm going to do is give this one a paint job. Let me show you what you're going to need. To start off with, you're going to need to clean the guitar. So for that, I've gone with methylated spirits and some old rags. Then to mask off the area that you don't want painted, I've got some really good quality masking tape. Then from there, you're going to need some kind of undercoat or primer. And on top of that, colors of your choice. Okay. Yeah. Then between coats, you're going to need some sandpaper. I've gone with a 600 grit and a 1200 grit. And then to finish it off, a clear coat. And in my case, I've gone with satin. Okay, so first off, we've got to get the strings off. I've been playing guitar for 15 years. And that sound still makes me laugh like I'm a kid. Alright, so the strings are off. Now we come to probably one of the most important parts of this paint job, and that's cleaning the surface. The thing about the guitar is that even though it looks clean, there will still be a small layer of dirt. In my case, this guitar has a matte finish, so I don't need to worry about scuffing it up at all, but I do need to get that layer of dirt off. The longer you spend on this stage, the better it's going to come out. Now straight away you can see the dirt on that is crazy. Make sure to turn the rag quite often because it's going to get dirty and you don't want to just be transferring that back onto the guitar. And now we come to the second most important part of the process, and that's masking off the areas that we don't want painted. I've gone with a pretty high quality tape to make sure I don't get any bleed under the tape, but I'm going to show you a technique to make sure that that doesn't happen either way. So in my case, I'm not going to be painting the fretboard or the neck or the headstock at all. I'm going to leave that as is. I like the feel of this neck, so I don't want to interfere with that or mess that up. Now for the electronics, you could unscrew them and take them off and do the painting like that. But in my case, I'm not too worried about that because they're all square. So I'm going to be able to get away with it by just taping them up. I'm just using the edge of the knife to work the tape into this very, very small corner. I mean, I'm going to be honest here, I don't have the best method of doing this, and I am kind of just working this out as I go. Now I think it goes without saying that this is one of those steps where you really, really want to take your time. When I was a lot younger, I tried this on many occasions and always failed because I just didn't have the patience to get this right. Now the pickguard I'm not going to take off purely because it's going to be a lot of work and I'm not sure if the pickguard will survive. So all I'm going to do is tape it up and then trace out the line with a very sharp blade, and that way I'll be able to maintain this shape and keep it taped over at the same time. Now to do the rest of the neck, I'm not going to put tape all the way along. What I'm going to use instead is some newspaper and then just tape that onto the neck. And this video is sponsored by Adelaide City North Messenger. Thank you for your amazing newspaper contribution. Alright, all the taping is done. Now we can move on to the fun part. I've got the guitar hung up from the rafters of my pergola, and first up is an undercoat. It's been about an hour and I've done 2 coats of the primer, so now I can start on the black. This is probably where 99% of us will mess up the guitar. I know personally I have many times. I put on 2 coats of paint in quick succession, but now I need that paint to dry properly, and to do that I need to leave it for about 2 hours. It's very easy to want to move on to the next step, but you have to wait for that paint to dry properly, because next up is going to be a bit of sanding. It's the next day and we're going to give the guitar light sanding with 600 grit paper. All you're trying to do here is knock off the edges in preparation for the next coat. As you can see, I'm just using very light pressure and working in one direction. Alright, so now the sanding's done, I'm going to go out and give it 2 coats of paint, sand that back, put on another 2 coats of paint, and then we can work on the front and back. So I've given the black paint about 2 days to dry, so now I'm going to mask over it in preparation for the orange. Now one of the reasons I've waited so long before doing this taping is you don't want the tape peeling off the paint that you've just sprayed. So by waiting 2 days, I know that that's enough time for this paint to have cured fully. So this has taken me all of about an hour to do, but it's finally finished, so now I can go hang it up and start spraying the orange. Now before moving on to the orange paint, I'm going to do one last spray of black. That's going to fill any holes in the tape that might show a little bit of bleed, and then once that's dried and plugged those holes, I'll move on to the orange. Now unfortunately I haven't been able to sand between coats because this newspaper is going to get in the way and I don't want to have some areas sanded more than others. But it's okay, because what I'm going to do is sand the entire guitar before applying the clear coat, so at that stage it should fix up any imperfections. So this is going to be coat number 6. And now for the moment of truth. Let's see how this tape job works. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now I'll just give the orange section a quick sand and then we'll move on to clear coat. It's been a couple days and I've given the guitar 5 coats of clear. Now I'm going to give it a light rub down with the 1200 grit paper. Once that's done, I'll repeat these steps until the can runs out. Every time you spray on a new coat of clear, essentially you're creating very small ridges and valleys. So all you're trying to do with the sanding is knock down those ridges so you can slowly fill up the valleys, and that way you can create a consistent finish.